What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in someone else's home? Went to a buddy's house and he had a deer in the living room eating a bowl of dog food. He said they rescued it as a fawn and raised it alongside their dogs. When I was a young boy, my family would always go to a certain town for my dad's side family reunion. We would often stop at yard sales to buy whatever we deemed fit. At this random stranger's house, cause he had a yard sale, and I had to use the bathroom, and I went inside his house, and as I turned into his living room was a shrine dedicated to the Ku Klux Klan. He even had pictures of him with the Grand Wizard. Turns out this 80-year-old man was a high-ranking member of the Klan. This guy's toilet was open in the living room without walls, panels, or anything to keep your privacy. He was using it freely and was expecting people to do the same. Not seen, but heard. My friend's mom told him to masturbate later today, just casually, like it was a regular thing to say to your kids. He was just like, yeah, sure. A family Bible. A gigantic Bible, like easily 2 feet long, 1 feet wide, and 3-4 inches thick. It was on a podium and open to a random section. I was told not to touch it. No, they were not religious. A guy I dated about 15 years ago lived in a ramshackle old historic home that had not been properly maintained. It would have been lovely if it weren't crumbling and full of mold and probably a shitload of lead paint as well. The unfinished stone basement had a windowless dungeon in the far back corner, with raw stone walls, no lighting, and a big soundproof door that only locked from the outside. The weirdest part is that he had a low-functioning alcoholic friend who paid him $100 a month to sleep down there. That house was a soap opera of weirdness. I went to a coworker's apartment once, and she has a picture of us two together. She said she took that selfie a year ago, but I don't remember it. An aquarium full of massive hissing cockroaches. This guy I briefly dated asked me to come his apartment for the first time. He had a huge dog cage in his living room. I asked if he had a dog and he said no. It was so creepy. A lit shelf of dildos in their apartment. They claimed they are unused. They liked to collect funny ones. I seen people collect knives and guns on display, and in the scheme of things, if people collected more dildos instead, maybe it would be a better country. That would have to be the 3-story high zip-line fire escape. They let the dogs and cats into the basement to go to the bathroom even though they had a fenced-in backyard. The whole house smelled, even the kids when they went to school. Senior year in college, a couple relocating and selling their car. Their walls had huge photos of her in crazy nude poses and close-ups of straight-up porn. I had a hard time talking about the car. Ended up not buying it. Went to a friend's house back in elementary school. We were playing with Polly Pockets and got bored, so we decided to play hide and seek. It was my turn to be a seeker. She started counting down as I ran around to find a hiding spot. There was a closet near her parents' bedroom, and my little third grader brain thought that was perfect. I opened it up and a million tiny eyes stared back at me. It was dolls, tons and tons of dolls. Not even Barbies either, realistic looking dolls. I asked her about it and she said they were her mom's. Creeped me TF out. From then on she stayed at my house. This dude must have killed one of every animal that would have been on Noah's Arch. He had giraffes, lions, a rhino, zebra, bears, yeti, mountain goat, house cat, you name it. Blew my mind the amount of time and money this dude dumped into pointlessly killing shit. I'm all for hunting if you are going to eat it or if it's to thin herds, but sport hunting shouldn't be a thing. My friend's brother 17-ish was topless and massaging his topless mother's back in her bedroom. She was lying on her stomach and maybe it was innocent, but I felt really weirded out by it. When I was very young, my dad was planning to purchase an unremarkable sedan, and we went to this veritable mansion to pick it up. The owner let us into this sitting room that was filled with rich people stuff, fancy furniture and whatnot. As a child, the thing that caught my morbid curiosity was the matching set of 4 end tables made of elephant legs, complete with toenails. He saw my curiosity and explained to me that 2 were from a male, and 2 were from a female, and how to tell the difference via the toenails, and 2 were African, and 2 were Asian. I just nodded in understanding, but it made me very uncomfortable. I have 2. The first was after my old car was stolen and I had to have the ignition replaced. My insurance sent me to a guy that worked out of his home. In the main room was a massive, wall-sized portrait of him dressed as a medieval knight with his foot on a dragon's head, holding a big sword over his head. On other walls were a variety of swords displayed. He informed me they were all real and very sharp. His wife told me all about them while we waited. Turns out he's a part-time dragon slayer. He slays the demon dragons that live in the heathens of this world. In people, she had pamphlets, and she started asking me if I felt I had any dragons in me. Needless to say, I booked it out of there as fast as I could once he was done with my car. The second is a little more mundane, but still something I've never seen before or since. A huge vat of dark molasses in my childhood friend's kitchen. Her family was big, 9 or 10 kids each. After I spent the night for a sleepover, I was invited to breakfast with the family. Breakfast was either grits or oatmeal, and each kid took a turn ladling a generous portion of the molasses over their meal. I tried a little. I can't remember the flavor aside from it being unpleasant. In their bathroom trash can, there was some kind of weird rubber sock, just one of them. A neighbor had a pet owl in a cage,